What's the good word, y'all? Welcome to the New York Jets Syndicate channel, commonly known as DKB on my other channel, or as people see me throughout other forums, Bleacher Report, JetsNation.com, etc. So thank you for checking out the show. Now, for the news that I have for you guys, we are 24 hours away from potentially knowing exactly what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers and potentially Derek Carr or any other quarterbacks the New York Jets plan on pursuing that we may not know about. But the list is deep. It's pretty long, right? We're talking a target receipt here. Aaron Rodgers at the top. Derek Carr either side by side or just behind him. We still have Jimmy Garoppolo. We still have Ryan Tannehill. We have connections to Lamar Jackson with the contract issues that he's having. I've seen people throw out us trading for Justin Fields, since some believe the Chicago Bears could look to take a quarterback with the number one pick, or even potentially trade back and still get a guy that they love. And then you still have these other connections like Jameis Winston, who's having issues down there with the Saints, and a list of other names out there. So Tuesday could be the defining date. Tuesday will be when we start seeing combines, kick off for these young 2023 NFL draft prospects. And ironically, the timing of it couldn't be better. So it just so happens that the combine's kicking off. We have both of the general managers from the Jets in Joe Douglas and the Packers and Brian Gutekunst that are going to speak on the same day. And then we also have the Pat McAfee show, which Aaron Rodgers is a weekly, guest on. So there's three different sources of information we can pull together, and whether it's Aaron Rodgers breaking himself that he plans on retiring or he plans on continuing to play. And at this point, it seems like from the Aaron Rodgers perspective, a lot of the intel says that he's going to be wearing a green uniform. It just depends on what the shade of green is going to be. People believe he's either going to remain with the Packers. He has been citing his 18 years of history with them, or he's going to go to the New York Jets. He's had some of his best offensive years under Nathaniel Hackett, and you would love to think he likes the weapons that he has at our disposal and that top five defense that we can pair him with. You piece all that together, maybe one of the GMs let some information break. The Packers GM himself can say we fully plan on keeping Aaron Rodgers, although we've heard that talk from every general manager in existence, or Joe Douglas can't speak to it, much like Woody Johnson wasn't necessarily able to do. But Joe Douglas could say, hey, we have our targets dead set firm on Derek Carr, and there's not going to be anything that shifts our attention from that, a.k.a. killing any potential deal with Aaron Rodgers. And so there's going to be a lot of interest there on Tuesday. I, for one, am going to be interested to see how he does plan on speaking on, and this is in regards to Joe Douglas, his pursuit potentially of Derek Carr. I'd have to imagine the press conference, if we're smart, our media team isn't the best out there, so we'll hear a lot of repeat questions, but I'll be interested to see if we can pull out some information on what the interest level in Derek Carr is. We've heard a lot of the reports about, the recent meeting over the weekend, or at least 2-3 weekends ago, going great. Derek Carr loving everything. There are question marks about the commitment to Zach Wilson and developing him. But from all accounts, it seems like they would love to be able to work together and go out there and get a ring. Keep in mind, you don't just call a guy, or you don't pitch him the selling point that you believe he can be a Hall of Famer with the franchise if you don't intend on going out and making a serious commitment to, acquiring him for the team. So we'll see what the fallout there is. From Aaron Rodgers' perspective, he is kind of pulling all the strings at the moment, right? He takes his darkness retreat. From what I understand, the Packers haven't really received any kind of news from Aaron Rodgers in regards to which way he's leaning. And so I would imagine if he ends up putting that information out there on the Pat McAfee show, I can see whether it's good news or bad news. The Packers trying to make a push to get him out of the building, but Aaron Rodgers holds all the cards right now. He doesn't have a no trade clause in his contract. However, just based on the way that his contract is set up, there's a couple of things in his favor. The value, we're talking a guy making 50 plus million a year. That's going to be a lot for any team to try to squeeze into the cap, the way that's constructed. So he can just basically say, I'm going to play out my contract, which will be a huge impasse for the Packers. Or he can force the issue and say, well, hey, if you don't want to honor my trade demands, then I'll just go ahead and retire. And they're still saddled with a huge contract, and they no longer have Aaron Rodgers, and they won't receive any kind of, draft compensation for losing him. So one of the things that we're working in the Jets' favor with that litany of, chips on Aaron Rodgers' table is the fact that could lower the trade value for the New York Jets. If value is the separating factor between Derek Carr, who is a free agent, there's no draft compensation whatsoever. It's just a contract, versus Aaron Rodgers, who maybe everybody thinks is the more talented quarterback. But we don't want to give up any draft capital. However, let's say the Packers decide, okay, we can't accept the first. Let's go ahead and take a second round pick and maybe a future, third round pick that can be upgraded into a second if he plays his second year. Then you're looking at a totally different situation. The Jets still get to keep their round one draft pick. They still get to keep a round one draft pick in the following year, 2024. And you just acquired a future Hall of Famer for potentially a second and a third or 2 second round picks. And so, when I think about it in terms of draft versus the current player we're looking at, Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff in terms of being able to throw the ball. One of the best pure passers in the NFL that we've ever seen. You're not going to find a guy of that caliber in the second round, right? Maybe he can develop into that, but you're not going to get that level of play right now. I would take that deal every day. Even though I'm against it, I would say a first would be worth it as well, but with the list of needs that we still have, offensive line, there's still upgrades in terms of the safety room, linebacker, defensive tackle that we need. I would say if we can get him for a second rounder and below, it's as good as a done deal, and I will forego my love for Derek Carr. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Aaron Rodgers, do you guys think that he will give a yes or no answer on Tuesday? And everybody can start figuring out exactly what they're doing with plan A, B, and C? Or is this something that we think can still potentially get drawn out? Why would that happen? I don't know. He's finished his retreat. There shouldn't be a whole lot of any other things to really be concerned about. But this would be the best interest of all parties if we do get some kind of solid answer. So Tuesday will be a very interesting day for the NFL world as a whole. Again, let me know what your guys' thoughts are, and I will catch you again. Appreciate it. Peace.